she is. How are you, ma'am?
Hi there. I'm doing
Uh,
good.
it's it's good to have you. Thank you for joining us. Now, remind me again whenever you first got introduced to American Business Systems. It's been how long now?
It's been a long time. It's been since 2012.
2012. And so you kind of come through and you've seen a lot of change here at American Business Systems. So matter of fact, you and I were we were talking about all different types of things. And I mentioned that, one of the questions that people are going to be asking is, how do we get started? Stephanie's just asking here. I would like to know what would be the first to start. Where do you kind of start here? So let's talk about, what you do, how you kind of branched off into some of the other areas but you've got a background in medical billing. You've got a background in doing some credentialing and coding. And I guess the first question is the first question that everybody's going to ask: do I have to have a background in all these things to get started with American Business Systems?
So the answer is no, you don't, but you have to be willing to spend some time getting yourself educated. There's a lot of ways to get educated. Obviously, using all the resources that ABS offers will help you to get educated, not just with doing the billing. I mean, obviously, you need to do that, but you also need to know how to market your business. There's just a lot of pieces. It's a business, so you need phones, you need coffee machines. So much of that, though, you can do virtually. And when I first started, you had to have a big giant copy machine. And I used to have files. So all my EOBs used to be files in the wall,
Right.
EOBs, and now they're electronic. So yeah, a lot of things have definitely changed in the last 10 years, definitely for the better. I can actually do some traveling now, and it's fairly easy for me to work from wherever I go. I just move my computer. I think our business is big enough. We will love a printer, a small printer that'll print.
Yep.
But really, we take our computers and we do everything at home.
That's awesome. Yeah. And when you get to that part of that business where you're actually, like you mentioned, you can travel. I mean, Patrick and I've talked about that so often. We do these webinars, every week, and we say, well, yeah, you can travel, you can take it, because obviously now with the systems that are out there, including our system with Next Gen and as I claim in EMRX, as long as you have an internet connection, gosh, you can get to anything and everything you need, whether it's like you said with online storage that's all secure, it's all HIPAA compliance. Everybody wants to know about that. The connection that you have into actually doing the billing, how you transfer information, I'm sure, back and forth with doctors and all that. Mm-hmm. Gosh, that's the beauty. But still, this is still a great type of home business, because it looks like you're still at home. Are you at your home office there?
This is my home office. We do have a brick and mortar office, but we're not using it in the way that we were. So we had thought about doing more of a virtual business for a long time. And
sure,
we had our brick and mortar office, and then of course COVID happened, and so we did virtual, which is kind of what the direction we wanted to go anyway. So
that's awesome.
Even our gal that answers our phone, she's at home also, and she answers her phones from there. Same thing with digital platforms for phone service. It's easy to have anybody doing things in different places, and you don't all have to be in the same room anymore. So
yeah, that's what's so awesome. And I remember, I mean, as we were getting things kicked off, and I've been with ABS now for, gosh, I think over 15 years now. And I remember all of these little things about doing things online. And boy, at that point, everybody was going, gosh, can we do it online? And, can we have cloud services? And can it be HIPAA compliant and all that? So, gosh, we have moved so far along to where really you can be anywhere. Now, let me ask this question before there's some other questions coming in. I'm going to ask those, but where you live in obviously in the New Mexico area.
Yeah.
Are all of your clients in New Mexico, or do you have clients in other parts of the country? Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, the majority of our clients are here in New Mexico, but we do have clients in Colorado and Arizona as well right now. And we're looking to do a lot more in other places, not just locally.
So I think a lot of people always ask, gosh, what if my area is saturated with medical billers?
Yeah, I don't think it will ever be saturated. There's so much business out there, I think, for everybody. And I was talking to somebody yesterday, and one of the things that I learned from you guys at our first training was to put yourself in second place. So I was telling him that yesterday, and we do that. I mean, everybody has a biller,
Right.
whether it be an in-house biller or they have a third-party biller. Get to know these people, get to know them, network with other people, and put yourself in second place, because you're the first one they're going to think of if things go wrong with their current biller. So we've gotten a lot of clients that way, just putting ourselves in second place. So
You said a couple of things already. I'm going to review those. One is you said this is a real business. So you got to treat it as a real business, obviously, because if you just think that you're going to start and you're going to, put your money in and start up with American business systems. And again, people can try to have their own business in medical billing. But, they found out that, gosh, why not just stop trying to reinvent the wheel, and so they become part of American business systems, and then we keep bringing in more services. But then you said networking. Kind of tell us some of the things that you found successful as networking things, because again, a lot of people are going, I like the concept of the business of being a medical billing company. But they'll go, okay, I'm not a salesman. Now, I don't picture you being a wild salesperson yourself, but doesn't mean that you don't. Obviously you're selling your business, but talk to those that are a little bit afraid of quote unquote selling this business.
Well, you're selling yourself as much as you're selling your business. People, I mean, what do they say on the sales world? People need to know, like, and trust you.
Right, exactly.
The way for people to know, like, and trust you is to meet them, to shake their hand. So for us, I mean, we've done some mail outs, and we just did one recently, and we got a client like right away. But I have to say that's fairly unusual. It was just perfect timing, this particular client.
Yeah.
But for me, it's one of two ways. It's walking into an office and leaving information, shaking their hand, and then going into the office again and doing it again, just so you're creating a relationship with the people behind the desk, because the people behind the desk will then talk to the people behind the vault that you can't get to.
Yes.
And then eventually it gets back to the doctors. And then one of the other ways is there's a lot of different networking groups. There's BNI, and I think BNI is all over the country. So I've been in BNI. I've done a lot of different things for some networking groups that are specific to physicians. But for me, that's been the best way, is just creating relationships.
You bet. That's awesome. Now, Judy's asking, can you review the initial steps after obtaining a doctor willing to sign up to receiving a bill? How do they, can you kind of just get a high level of, okay, you got a doctor signed up.
Mm-hmm.
Just how do those initial steps kind of get going there?
So, there's always a lot of front end work at the beginning when you get a provider on. We go through the process of, so we also offer credentialing. So at the beginning, when we get somebody signed up, we have them complete a credentialing packet. And that's important, setting up your practice management system as well. So if you give them some kind of, we call it a packet. It's just, it has forms that say, are they billing group or are they billing individual? You get their tax IDs, their social security numbers, their addresses, their pay-to addresses, all of that kind of information, so that when you go to your practice management system, you can get all of that information put in there and set up. You also want to get their codes, like the different codes that they're using. You know, what type of provider are they? Are they a piece, primary care provider? Are they a specialty? You want to know what codes they're using, and you also need their fee schedule. I can develop a fee schedule. I create fee schedules for our providers, but I've been in the medical field, I hate to even say it, but over 30 years. So I've been working top to bottom medical practices for a very long time. But if you don't have that kind of background, then you ask them for their fee schedule, because again, you want to put that fee schedule in your practice management system. So that's going to be your first step, really, is getting your system all set up so that you can start doing the billing.
And I'm putting this, I'm just going to pause you here just real quickly, because people are going to go, gosh, I don't even know what she's talking about fee schedules. And because obviously there's a few folks on here that know a little bit about billing, but there's going to be some that here going, oh my gosh, what is she talking about? So folks, let me share with you that everything that she's talking about here is supported in our training. And that training is really one-on-one with you. We used to do training, Jeanette, you might remember, we used to do training at a hotel. We'd get everybody together and do this training, but now it's one-on-one. So it's even a little bit better, because they're getting individualized training to go all over these different modules. And then on top of that, we got an entire support team to be able to help you, to kind of walk you through. And then if needed, Jeanette, you've actually helped some licensees, I believe, as a support mechanism. So folks, what you're hearing is somebody that's had, 30 plus years of experience that can be, just a phone call away to say, hey, could I get in touch with somebody like Jeanette and go, can she kind of help me through this process? And obviously that's what we do with all of our licensees.
Right, exactly. And I should have prefaced all of that information with the fact that that is why ABS is there.
That's correct.
Because all of the things that I've said, you'll have help doing that, every step of the way while you're doing it, either through the practice management system itself or through ABS. But either way, you have assistance in getting this done. So, and then once you've done that, then you start working with your provider. There's different ways of getting the information. We could do a whole probably webinar on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going to get their information to you differently, but if they're using the EHR, the EMRX, the iClaim, if they're using that system, then all of that's going to be in there already. So it's not going to be a matter of trying to get it from A to B. It will already be in there. So.
You bet. I'm glad you said that. I actually got a slide for that. So for folks that you can kind of see what Jeanette was saying is that all of that information it's all basically, I'll put it this way, it's all self-contained. It's all self-contained within inside of the EMR. There's a patient portal. I'll even show folks this, that some may have already seen it, but it's a complete cloud-based integrated system. Everything from iClaim that has a part of the patient portal built into that. The EMRX, the electronic medical records, is also built into the software. And another point about, because you've worked with other practice management systems and billing systems that don't have their own clearinghouse, that you've actually contracted and as a third-party clearinghouse, you've had to put that, but inside of the iClaim system, that's built inside of it already. So there is somewhat of an advantage of having that you can have a complete system, as we're showing again back here on this particular slide, that has everything integrated inside of it, that you can just do all of that. So hopefully that helped with that one question. Let's see, Trudy's asking, I'm currently doing billing for an interior designer. Some of her clients are doctors. How do I go about approaching some of those doctors once I finish my training? That's a great question, because that's networking right there.
Yeah, the idea is you want your interior designer that already knows, likes, and trusts you
Yeah.
to have a conversation either with you, she introduces you to them directly. That's probably the best way. But if that can't happen, then you want her to mention you and then say, maybe get contact information so that you can give them a call
You
at the
bet.
number that's best for them. But um, that's definitely how I would do it. I have a provider right now. He's primary care. He does drug addiction, and he told me I just talked to a doctor at a meeting last night. He's looking for a biller, so I gave him your name, and I said, terrific. I said, that's great. How do I get a hold of him? And he didn't have his cell phone number. This doctor's great. I mean, not all doctors will do this, but I said, would you please find out what his cell phone number is for me so I don't have to go through the front desk? Because
Right.
won't get that. So anyway, he did that for me. He got in touch with the doctor, got his cell phone number, and he gave that to me so that I would be able to call him. And he was expecting my call. So
That's awesome.
that kind of help, then that certainly improves your situation.
That's good. Trudy said, thank you for that answer. And you're welcome there, Trudy. I'm not sure who this is. It's just that it says an anonymous attendee, which is fine. But they're asking, have you used social media to help market your business? And, how do you do that?
I honestly have not. I know there's a lot of people doing it and doing a great job at it, but I've not done that so far. Really, for me, it's been word of mouth has been the biggest. Doing a really great job with the clients you have, and having them refer you out, saying what happened with the other doctor. I do have a Facebook, but I can't even tell you the last time I logged into it. And yeah, I know I need to get better. And I should be using it to my advantage, and I just haven't done that. But as we've decided we're ready to go to the next level and start growing our business even bigger. And so I know that social media will definitely be part of that. And fortunately for me, my daughter does social media consulting. So
there you go.
Might help me.
There you go. Just gotta ask.
Yeah, ask.
Now, speaking of your daughter, obviously American Business Systems is a family-owned business. You got Patrick, you got Adam. It started actually with Linda, but I hear that your son is part of the billing company and your husband, and so I mean, this has turned out to be a great family business for you.
Yeah, it's been amazing. My husband worked for a cell phone company. It was incredibly stressful. And so we just really wanted to grow it enough to get him home, helping us, because we really needed the help. And so him and my oldest son started working with us almost the same time. And then later on, my daughter also joined us. She still does work when we need it. She's doing other things now too. And all my kids have helped at some points. And yeah, no, it's been great. Luckily, I have a big family.
There you go. There you go. It tells you to, hey, have some more kids and get them started and or at least maybe get the grandkids going once that's ready. Listen, I just found out a few months ago that we're having our 9th grandchild. So gosh, we're starting up our own crew over here.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Sharon's asking, do you feel like you need any experience to do the medical billing?
I think that you need to educate yourself for sure. And you need to associate yourself with experienced people. But I think everybody is capable of doing this. And it's just, are you willing to put in the time? Because it does take some time and it takes some effort to learn, just like anything new.
Sure.
Anything new requires you to spend some time learning about it. So, but yeah, I absolutely I absolutely think you can do that.
Yeah, I can't agree more. I mean, obviously, I'm anybody that's an entrepreneur. I'm going to kind of talk just from a business
Mhm.
consulting part of it. Forget the medical billing side of it, but whether you're doing medical billing or you're going to go become something else out there, whether it's billing or open up a sandwich shop, or open up a whatever you're going to open up. Obviously, you got to know your product, you got to know what your service is. So, to kind of help put that in perspective, what we are going to teach you again in the training is it has all the aspects of what you need to do of the introduction. And I know that there's a question that's coming up here from Eric, and I'm going to ask his question here. But the introduction, how to what's a practice workflow, introduction to medical billing, the iClaim EMRX overview, and then a hands-on session, and then you're going to get into government quality payment programs, and then you're going to get into quick collect and audit guard and compliancy guard and all these different things that you see here. And then module 6, if y'all can see, that's kind of a little tiny there, but introduction to marketing, warm marketing. And that's what Jeanette's saying. If you're working with somebody that's an interior direct designer, and then they've got doctor clients that they're working with, how do you do that warm market handoff there? So you can see. And then business networking and the marketing books, which I'm going to show here in just a little bit, and or utilizing in module 8, how to work with sales reps and referral partners and marketing versus classified ads. So here's the thing, folks, let me tell you, ABS has been around 28 years. There has been just about every marketing technique I think I've seen come through. Some have worked, some haven't worked, some work better than others in certain areas. So your trainer will work with you, the support team will work with you to help you get that first client. Now I get to move over to Eric's question. He says, how do you convince a physician to sign up for someone that is brand new to the business?
Well, just like we learned in training, was years ago, you're fortunate to be able to say you're working with a group of billers, because you can do that. I mean, you have ABS behind you, and there are a lot of billers already, so speaking with ABS, obviously, and
Right.
there's a lot of education and knowledge there. So to be able to say that, it's not just you. It's not just you. You have a group of billers that you are working with. So
Yeah. So Eric, if you think about it, Patrick has used this example in the past. Everybody knows who Remax is or Century 21 is. And so people that want to get involved in real estate, they may be trying to sell their first house, but again, they're part of a larger name fashion there. And that's what, again, MIRMA does for you, is that MIRMA has this nationwide group of medical billers that has been in business for over 28 years. You're just associated on a local basis. You've opened up a local office of this larger organization, Eric, so that whenever you're going out, because remember, one of the things that we're going to do for you, Eric, let's say that you've got a doctor that is interested. You're going to take that doctor through what's called a practice analysis, and that's going to help get a lot of discovery information that is talked about prior to doing billing. And then what we're going to end up doing, part of our support team is going to take that doctor through a demonstration of the software from start to finish, kind of walking that doctor through that. So once you get out of training and let's say you got a doctor that's interested, and he or she is going, okay, hey, I'd like to see how your system works. Then all of a sudden you can turn to American Business System and say, hey, let me get my team, a demonstrator team, to kind of do this, show this to you. That's what's going to help you again. So you could come straight. Jeanette, I've actually seen some folks before they've even gone through training. They go, I already know a doctor that's interested. They already know I'm going to start this medical billing company. Can y'all do a demonstration for me before training? We've done that. Because again, what would be great, a better thing to kind of start off when you get through training, that you've already got a doctor kind of lined up there. And that's, Eric, without people that's even know what's really going on. So hopefully that kind of helped answer your question there. A lot of information there all of a sudden for one question there, but it kind of helps you to see that. Let's see if I've got some other questions that have come in. We're getting the questions in now. So it looks like we kind of generated some. Oh, and then she says, thanks for part of my question has already been answered. Okay, so we've done that. So Trudy's asking another question. I have a cousin who lives in the state of Massachusetts who is a doctor. She has 2 locations with at least 3 to 4 doctors and nurse practitioners under her. How do I go about approaching her? She's been in practice over 30 years. Sometimes family could be the hardest. Should I make a personal visit or what? So I think talking to what we were just talking about there would certainly be what would be the best, Trudy, is to get us involved. I mean, that's why you're joining, ABS and getting all the different services and letting us help you through that. So, you have any other suggestions to give, Jeanette?
I would definitely say get in front of them.
Yeah.
But get in front of them with, depending on your level of knowledge and your level of comfort, I would definitely bring ABS along with you virtually to handle that.
Yes.
If you need, if you need some backup. And I think you're right. Usually family is the most difficult because they know you and they've known you your whole life.
Well, that kind of gets back to that. Have you been a trustworthy person within your family? Somebody that they know, like, and trust. They may know you, but I'm sure that that wouldn't be Judy's case. She's probably a very trustworthy person already. So that's a great thing to know that you've got someone in your family and that you could actually turn to. One of the things that you did mention, and I'm going to bring this little slide up here about the new thriving medical practice. And let me tell everybody here, Jeanette just said, try to learn as much as you can. This book is available on Amazon.com. You can go out there and purchase that right now. But let me tell everybody that's on here today, if you'll reach out to the person that invited you to the webinar, one of the business associates here at American Business Systems, get back with them and they can maybe get you a PDF of this so you can kind of learn. Obviously, that's one of the best ways. And I'm going to tell you why, because once you become part of American Business Systems, one of the things that you're going to get is you're going to get these books to give out to your doctors. And we're going to show you actually how to mail these to the doctors that actually gets past that person at the front desk, because that's what you're going to want to do. And then what's going to happen is with that, your name will actually be on the front cover where it says forward by, obviously your name is not going to be Susan Smith, but whatever it is, Certified Medical Revenue Manager. That's what you're going to want to have. That's going to give you some of the credibility. It's kind of go back to Eric's question. How do people going to think that, I've got any credibility just kind of getting started? Again, Eric, get the book, read the book, see the forward that we've got, ready for you if you want to add some things to it once you're ready to go to print for this. And then you can hand that out. You can hand that out at the luncheons that you go to or some of the networking places you might go to. Trudy, this is a book that you can obviously have that is written by Patrick Phillips, Dr. Vicki Rackner. You've written the forward. Get that to your family member who's a doctor already. This is already going to start to prove some of your credibility. So I want to kind of share that with you there. Let's see. Jacqueline has a question here. I'd like to begin working the business part-time until I can replace the income of my full-time job. Do you think this would be put me at a disadvantage or have less time to network? I also have limited availability for providers due to being a full-time job. What do you think about starting this part-time? You think it can be done?
Oh, absolutely. That's how I did it. I actually worked a full-time job while I got this business going. And yeah, it worked out great. I mean, it was in my opinion, it was a good way to do it because you were able to um, maintain your family, your home life, your bills.
Yeah.
We all have them, and then start making extra money on top of that, and don't use any of that money.
Yes.
Just use that money for your business. So, but anyhow, yeah, absolutely, it was a great way to do it.
Yeah. So Jacqueline, I think one of the ways, I think maybe one of your concerns would be, how do I even get to providers prior to that? Again, let me remind you, one of the things we're going to teach you in training, and I'm going to pull that little list back up here, right there. So, and by the way, everybody can get a copy of this. So again, just go back and ask for it from your person that invites you to the webinar. But one of the things you're going to learn again during training is how to get the doctor's attention, sometimes with you working part-time. The good thing about it is when you're going through training with your one-on-one trainer here, talk to them and say, hey, I'm going to be doing this from a part-time position. Can you work with me on how do I get in front of the doctors? Because remember, in module two, you see there's a hands-on session there. So the trainer is going to be giving you opportunities to do some homework, to try to get some things done. You're going to be building your marketing, very specialized marketing. That's the difference between when Jeanette went through training, which was an entire group of people. We're having to do this, get all this information out here in one fell swoop. But with the online personalized training like this, you can say, so Jacqueline, when you meet with your trainer here, say, hey, I'm letting you know up front, I'm doing this from a part-time position. I've got a full-time job. How am I going to be able to reach these doctors? And how am I going to do all this and still do this from a part-time, getting it kind of kicked off? And then that person's going to show you again how to use these books like this, get those mailed out to the doctors. I wanted to click it too quickly there. But get this out to the doctors through mailers, because let me tell you, if it's written directly to the doctors, confidentiality to the doctor, it's going to get to the doctor. They're going to open it. They're going to know it's something more than just a letter. They're going to see that this is a book from you with you writing the forward. So that's going to give you some credibility too there, Jacqueline, and kind of get you kicked off there. So, yeah. So, hey, that's just one of the best ways that I can tell you how this is going to work there. So Jacqueline says, oh, okay, thank you. And yes, that was another concern of mine. So apparently we're answering the questions right so far. So far, so good. All right. Let's see, we've got about 19 more minutes left. So let's see what we can do to start wrapping up here. I've got one question because we kind of skirted this issue a little bit, Jeanette. Let's talk about coding. Does someone obviously someone asked a question about being educated. We've got the book there. You can start educating yourself, but that's not going to teach you coding. You mentioned something about getting the codes from the doctors. That scares people because they're going to think, gosh, do I need to be a coder? But I'm going to put this up here on the screen. Isn't it the doctor's responsibility to provide the medical billing codes to the billing company?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Absolutely. They are the ones that are supposed to provide you with the codes. And it just depends on how you structure things. But if you are a biller and you're not a certified coder, you should never be changing any of those codes.
Right.
You just go back to the providers if there's any question about anything, and they're the ones that correct the codes or do anything like that. Say you were to get a denial, but yes, it is their responsibility to provide the codes for you and the modifiers as well.
Absolutely. So let me share these two services that are right there, these two little boxes. Now, folks, when you get when you join American Business Systems, you're not going to get all these white little boxes. So that's just a graphic here. We've had some people say, "Hey, I haven't seen all my little white boxes come in the mail yet." But Audit Guard and CodeWrite are certified professional coders that are at your service. That if you need them, they're there. There is a charge that goes with that. But that charge, you basically just pass that on to the doctor because it's at a discounted rate for you. The doctors always know they have to pay for any service, whether it's the coding or auditing, their current codes. That's all explained again in that training. If you've got any questions about that, again, get back with the person that invited you. They'll explain those services a little bit more and how the doctors end up paying for those instead of coming out of your pocket. But that's exactly what Jeanette is saying, is that let a certified professional coder do that. So if a doctor asks you, can you do my coding? The answer is yes. And then you've got certified professional coders that can do that for you.
Yeah. And I've used CodeWrite in the past. I am a certified coder. But sometimes I'll get, somebody that wants an audit, they want 25 charts audited. And I just don't have the bandwidth to do a 25 chart audit. So I did reach out to CodeWrite to help with that. So.
I've used Audit Guard myself to even get started with a doctor. What I would do is I actually use that as a door opener because I would go in and talk with the office manager, or sometimes get in touch in front of a doctor, especially if I'm doing some type of networking part of the business and I meet a doctor. Sometimes I just ask them, when's the last time you had anybody review your codes? And they go, gosh, I don't know. It's been maybe some time. I said, well, look, I've got a service. It's called Audit Guard. How about we just do a kind of a spot check before you have to get audited by Medicare or Blue Cross Blue Shield or anybody else. Let's just do a check, and then they'll go, well, what's that going to cost me? And so we gave them the price, and they go, well, that's worth it. And so what you're doing, you're building credibility already. And while you're doing that, you can go, obviously, we can do your billing. So again, all these different services lead into each other. So hopefully that kind of helps some folks there. Sharon says, I went to school for medical billing and coding, but never got a job. Had many interviews and was told I don't have any experience. That's why I asked the question about it, the experience. I'm very interested in feeling strongly about starting my own medical billing business, but is this a market that is very competitive? Great question for you, Jeanette.
So I guess it depends. It's always, I would say, yes, it is competitive. But there are so many providers out there. I mean, there's just so many providers that need billers. And again, having ABS help you is key for sure. But think of it as a challenge and as fun. I mean, this is fun. Getting out there, meeting new people, and sharing what you know, and getting to know the people at ABS and the things that they can help with. I mean, all of this is fun, and yes, it's serious, but it's fun. And find a way to make it fun, while you go through the process. But so yes, it's competitive, but when people get to know you, they want to work with you. So, just get out there and meet people.
There you go. And Sharon, again, remember that part of it is if just getting out there and, like Jeanette said, be that second one in line, be at the top of the mind, because we even though it can be competitive out there, the competitiveness comes from here, is that the doctors know that they can possibly go find another biller.
Yep.
And believe me, they're always thinking about that. And it'd be nice for them to be thinking of you whenever it's that time. Now, obviously, why are they thinking about another biller is because they don't feel like their current biller is doing a good enough job. Yep. And then that's why you've got the experience behind American Business Systems, people like Jeanette there to help you. Tim Warren, who is our support guy here at American Business Systems, he and his team are there to help you do the demonstrations, work with you on that, and give you a support that you may be and one individual, but with an entire team and 28 plus years of experience. And that's what you're needing as you kind of get things started. Then whenever you're been as long as Jeanette has, and I'm, like she says, she does still use some of these services here. So it doesn't matter how long you've been in business. She can always rely here upon ABS. Let's see. Stephanie's asking, can I receive a copy of this recording, refer back to later? Yes, absolutely. This is being recorded right now. Plus, again, you can go back and ask for the PDF of all the slides. Let's see what else we got here. And we've got about 12 more minutes here, so we'll be wrapping things up here shortly. Sharon's asking, how do we charge the provider? You want to kind of talk about how you kind of, when you get to that negotiation about what do you charge, kind of talk us through that a little bit.
So sometimes the way that you charge will also depend on where you're located. Like in the US, like what are other competitors charging? But we charge like on a percentage basis. So I'm not sure if you were asking, if you charge a flat fee or if you charge a percentage or an actual amount that you charge. But we charge on a percentage basis, and I think that's pretty standard. I know some states you're not able to do that, so you would have to figure out how you are able to do it in your state. I'm sure ABS can help you with that.
Absolutely.
And so you submit all the claims get paid. Whatever you're reimbursed at, then you charge them a percentage of that amount, and that's how we do it. Some of the other things we'll do flat fees, and I know a lot of billers will do things differently. I know billers that do flat fee. They used to do $5, but I'm sure that's not enough anymore.
Right.
But that's a little more difficult because you have to really, pay attention to the claim counts. And so anyway, but a percentage is a lot easier. So I don't know, is that what you were wanting to know?
Sure. Yeah. Now let me ask this, and you may, do you have I think what I understand, again, most people are charging 6%, maybe 7%, depending on the area. And that's kind of like the medium range. It could go a little bit less, it could go a little bit higher, but that's all dependent upon, again, the volume of claims. Is this a specialist? Is it just a regular primary care physician?
Health?
Yes.
And often it's how much time are you going to have to spend, not just on the work, but for like behavioral health clients, when they're the only ones, let's say it's an individual behavioral health client, they usually take a lot more time. Their billing's pretty easy, but they are a little more difficult because they're trying to do everything on their own.
Sure.
So usually we charge higher for them.
Okay.
And then you have your primary care where everything's pretty simple. They usually have a front desk staff that's checking eligibility, and they're doing a lot of that front end stuff. So it should be a little bit easier on our end. Usually they're a little bit less. So it just depends on the specialty for sure, and the amount of work that you're going to have to do working with that particular client.
All right, so we're getting close to the top of the hour here, and there's no more questions that have come in. So, but folks, if you've got last minute question here, we can probably have about 4 or 5 more minutes with Jeanette. But Jeanette, you might kind of wrap up, what your thoughts are, and what should be people's next steps, or what would you recommend if one of these people called you today and said, okay, give me your best consulting keynote here, what would it be?
Oh gosh, that's a tough one because there are so many, but I would say connect with whoever invited you, or who you've been talking to about this, and really check it out. Talk to people, talk to people that have been doing it, and spend some time doing a little bit of research. Do a little bit of research on billing and what's involved with it, and understand that this is I mean, I am so, so glad that I did this, that we did this as a family, and just it's changed our lives. Um, Part of the reason we started this business was because my daughter, she's like 7 years difference between her and her other siblings. And I homeschooled all the kids. And so it was like, oh gosh, what am I going to do with her? The other kids are doing their own thing and they're not going to be here to help me anymore.
Yes.
So I had this knowledge in medical billing and I had wanted to start it before, and I decided to just jump in. So sometimes you just got to jump in.
There
and,
you go.
And you have a lot of people to help you. So I would say that you're fortunate to be where you are right now. So.
Yeah, because one of the things, part of one of the processes for anybody that's on the call, and we've got other business owners here with American Business Systems who will take your call. And Jeanette, I think you've taken some calls too in the past, and so you might be available for someone to be available for them to give you a call. So that's what you got to do. Do your due diligence here on the front end. I mentioned earlier that, remember, we do the demonstrations for you, for your doctors. One of the things that you should be able to do is get back with the person who invited you here and have them take you through a demonstration of the software, so you can kind of see how billing works and kind of how it all goes here. So let me see if there's anything else here. Let's see if there's any other last minute questions. We've gotten some great questions from Trudy and Stephanie. So those that have been on there, thank you so much. And Stephanie is asking something about how to fund this. So I'll answer that towards the end. Eric, I appreciate some of the questions that you had. Jacqueline, thank you for your questions. You know, this has been great. I told you this hour was going to go by pretty quickly. But Jeanette, thank you. I appreciate what you've been able to share. I'm going to kind of wrap it up here with some next steps for everybody. But thank you so much for sharing your story, and tell your family hello from all of us here at American Business Systems. And we look forward to having you on an upcoming webinar again.
I look forward to it. It was fun.
Absolutely. Our anonymous attendee says, great webinar. Thank you so much. So thank you so much for sharing that as well. Jeanette, thanks so much. I'm going to wrap it up here with everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Stephanie says so thank you too as well. There you go. All right, folks, let me kind of just take you through some of the next steps. One of the first things I want to share with you here, and that was offered even to Jeanette whenever she was going through this, and that was, gosh, what about if I get started and I don't know if I really want to be able to do this? What do I do next? Well, unlike any other business opportunities or franchises out there, you do actually have an opportunity to get your money back. And let me kind of explain that for you for Patrick and Adam's sake here today. They have an unconditional, and that is unconditional 30-day money back guarantee. Now, let me tell you what it used to be. It used to still be unconditional money back guarantee. But when Jeanette was going through this, we had everybody come in to a class. We did a 5-day training class, Monday through Friday. And then you had the opportunity at the end of that class to decide whether you wanted to continue in this business or not. Well, going more to a direct online training, we know that's going to take more than just 5 days. So folks, it's been extended from 5 days to 30-day money back guarantee. So you get to go through, again, all of this training here. It could take you 3 or 4 days. It could take you 2 weeks. You may have to stretch it out to where it's the complete 30 days. But once you've gone through all of your training, you still have, again, 30-day money back guarantee. Now, why does ABS do that? The reason is because we want folks that really want to be in this business, and there's only so much that we know that we can do through webinars, through giving demonstrations, and getting you information like, you know, the PDF of the money, the new thriving medical practice, having you talk with folks like people like Jeanette and other folks that have been with ABS for a while, and just kind of getting to know them. But again, what better way than you can really experience it is if you go through training and then still have an opportunity to know that you can get your money back. Has that happened in the past? The answer is yes. It hasn't happened very much, because if it happened a lot, gosh, ABS wouldn't be around for 28 years. So we've got a lot of satisfied folks to get involved here and really like what we're able to do. So again, get with the rep you've been working with here at ABS, and they'll kind of explain that even further. You may not know who your rep is. Some of you may just jumped on here and go, hey, I realized that I found an invitation. I didn't know who to speak to. And matter of fact, I just say here from Jacqueline, no one invited me. I found the company through researching the field. How do I find someone to speak with? Call us 866-565-8413. You will be assigned to somebody, and they'll help you out there with you, or just email us at info@absystems.com. But the quickest way is to give us a call and then maybe email us. So let me tell you what your next steps should be. There's only 6 of them, and this will wrap us up here to the top of the hour. The first one is ask for a research guide. This research guide is over 60 pages long. It's more than what you're going to find on the internet. It's nicely done in a PDF format, so you can kind of go back, you can print off one page if you want to, you can print off a couple of pages, you can share that with somebody, you can email it to a business partner, or maybe even a business consultant that you're working with here, to have them take a look at it and kind of help coach you through that. But again, the research guide is to help you when you're working with your business coach here at American Business Systems, to kind of go through each of these sections here. So you're going to want to ask and request that directly from your business coach here at American Business Systems. Then you're going to want to browse our YouTube channel. Go through the YouTube channel, folks. Let me show you a quick little snapshot of that. We've been doing these webinars for you, for people. Again, 15 plus years is what I've been doing every single week. There's not a week that I think we've ever missed of doing this. So every year, every week of the year, we're doing one of these. So go back, and how do you find that? youtube.com/YABS. Go check us out there. You can just hear all different types of webinars, other interviews, how to do marketing. Should I get started in this? When should I get started? Is this a good time? We've got it all there. Then we've already talked to you about talking with some ABS licensees, referrals or references. So you're going to talk to people like Jeanette, who's been around. You may talk with some other licensees who have only been doing this for a couple of years, and the success stories that they've had. How quickly did they get a client? How did they get the client? What was the things they liked? What was the things they didn't like? And so you get to chat with them as you go through this. I've already mentioned also about requesting a live demonstration for yourself. This is the same demo that's going to be given to you whenever, or to your potential doctor client. And I know this for a fact because I was doing this quite a bit for ABS for a while. And that is, I knew that for every 2 demos that we were doing, we were closing at least one of those. So 50% close rate. Once you got that doctor to that position, we can pretty much help you close the deal there, so to say. Then we want you to review the purchase agreement. It's a 4-page purchase agreement. It doesn't have a lot of legalized mumbo jumbo and gosh, where's that fine print? Matter of fact, on the first page, there's 4 pages to the agreement, but on the first page, it talks about the money back guarantee. So you're going to want to see that, review that, get that again from the person that's invited you to the webinar. And then finally, get your funding in. Now, someone's asked about some funding, and Stephanie, if you're still there, or if you might listen to this a little bit later, she was asking the question about how do I fund this? So, can I get a loan assistant, or do I need to look for grants or stuff like that? Again, get back with the business coach that you're working with here at American Business Systems. They know the different routes of helping you find financing. So get back with them. Some people finance it from their own savings. Sometimes I use 1 or 2 credit cards. Yes, a lot of people still get this going with a credit card, maybe at a low interest or a no interest rate credit card. So that's all available there. So there's different ways that you can do this. So get back with the person who invited you to help you with that. Again, call us at 866-565-8413. And before I let you go, again, like I mentioned earlier, we do this every single week. So let me tell you what we're talking about next Wednesday. Should I start a business during a recession? Well, gosh, we are in the middle of a recession. They've been talking about that over the telephone, the TV and internet and everywhere else that they're talking about that. Should I start this in a recession? We're going to talk to you about why you might want to look at this. Listen, if you're in a recession, guess who else is in a recession? Doctors are, and they're trying to find new ways to get money. And ABS services that we have available will help you with that. So go to absystems.com/webinar so that you can go over there and sign up already after this webinar and get the link for it for you. You're not going to want to miss that one. Patrick and I are going to probably both be doing this one next week together. We're going to bounce a couple of different ideas of what you can be doing and trying to get ready to get launched here. So again, everybody, thank you for staying on there, staying even for a little bit after the 5 o'clock hour where I'm here in Texas. So please go check us out. Give us a call at 866-565-8413. Give us send us an email. Talk with everybody. We look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. Again, I appreciate you staying on with us as long as you have. Appreciate everybody's questions. I appreciate everybody participating, and also Jeanette for joining us this afternoon as well. Thanks so much, everybody. You have a great week, end of your week, great weekend, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.